Oh, there you are, YouTube. Do subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Hey, did you know today is October 5th? It's another October day, which means we gotta head to the Advent calendar to see what movie we are watching for spooky season. So let's go, come with me. October 5th, what are we watching today? What do you got there?
The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Ooh, let me see that. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This will be a first-time watch for us. Recommended by Anthony's Horror and More. So the Autopsy of Jane Doe. Okay, so this was recommended to me by Anthony from Anthony's Horror and More. Anthony's Horror and More. And hey, I thought this was pretty good. Thank you, Anthony, for bringing this to my attention. It's what was it? I think it was IFC, so it's like this independent film, but it has some names in it. It has Emile Hirsch, who you may remember from Into the Wild and other stuff, and I don't know. That's all I can think of. There's something with what is it called, The Girl Next Door or something. There's that. There's him. Also, Brian Cox is in it, and I was like, "Oh, dang, Brian Cox in a movie like this? It doesn't seem like something he would do today." But I could be wrong. I don't follow his career that closely. I know him mostly from like X-Men and Manhunter, I guess, and I guess the Succession. Succession is what I know him probably best from, or spent the most time with him outside of X-Men 2. That's what I meant. Did I say? I think I just said X-Men. I meant X2. Okay, so. Yeah, I don't know. He was in it, and I was kind of surprised, right? And basically, what happens? Emile Hirsch is Brian Cox's son. The two of them work at this like morgue thing. You know, they cut open bodies and then try and find out how people died. And this I want to say patient. What do you call it? This body comes in, and they're like, okay. So, and actually, the movie opens with like them finding this body, and there's a lot of strange things going on with this body, and the cops are like, we can't figure this out. Can you help us? You got to help us by morning. And then it's like late, and they're like, ah, man, okay, I guess we gotta do an all-nighter here. And so yeah, this body comes in, and as they are doing the autopsy on it, it's just like very strange. They're like, how is this possible? This doesn't make sense. This doesn't align with what would normally happen in this situation if we found this in a different body, right? It's because the body looked absolutely pristine, but things within the body did not look pristine. And it's like if there's so much trauma happening within this body, you should be able to see it on the outside. And as we keep going, like spooky stuff starts happening around the room in which they're in. Spooky stuff starts happening like with the body. They keep finding some odd things that don't make sense, or that just feel a little extra creepy. And all of this it just creates a great atmosphere, right? Just the idea of being in a morgue, I think, is spooky. But then you start adding spooky stuff to it, like ghost-like activity. That's just going to crank things up, or zombie-like activity, or a variety of things. Because there are other bodies there too, right? And maybe some strange things are happening with them as well. But we eventually get to the reason as to why strange things are happening within that body and within the space around them. And I accidentally guessed it, because it kind of feels like actually the movie mostly feels like a murder mystery early on, for a long time in the movie. And then a spooky thing happens, right? And then it's like, oh, right, I forgot I'm watching a horror film, because it just felt like a procedural type sort of thing for a while. I lost my train of thought. I was talking about spooky things happening. Is that where I was? I totally forgot. What was it? I just lost my train of thought. Let me pause and get back to you. Okay, I remember. So, basically what I was going to say was we later find out in the movie, what what's going on. And I think it's maybe spelled out a little bit too much, or it's spelled out in a little bit too strong of an exposition sort of way. Like exposition is, I think, it can be fine, but this one felt like a little too let me tell you what's going on, you know. But oddly, I actually figured out it's not a twist, I guess the mystery early on accident. I just like threw it out there. I said it out loud. I think there was like maybe this clue. I think there was like a little clue or yeah, something that made me think, oh, I bet this is what's happening. And then I ended up being correct. But you know, there's a little twist to it. Not a twist, but it's not exactly what was going on in my head, what I was thinking. But it is like very close to it and very adjacent to it. But it's just, and even they think it's what I thought it was, and then it is that. But there's a slight twist. I keep saying twist. There's a slight difference to it, you know. So, but otherwise, I feel like it was good. The exposition portion maybe was a little too strong as to telling us what was going on. I think maybe it should have been revealed a little bit differently somehow, or spoken about in a different fashion. I don't know. It just felt a little spelled out. And then the very end, I think I'm a little confused on it. I don't know if I'm confused, but I guess it leaves things open. But it felt like maybe this was a closed, shut case, but then something happens at the very, 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 very end. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe well, I don't know. It's like there are these two possibilities at the very end with this body. And I guess they start to steer you in one direction, and you think that's the direction we're in. And then something happens at the end, and then it's like, okay, that other thing's going to happen. So it's not like it's, you know, a big twist or anything. I think both possibilities are there, but the one I was leaning towards a little bit more wasn't what happened. Instead, this other thing was, and it feels kind, you know, kind of like one of those things that they put at the very, very, very last second of a horror film. One of those sorts of things. But anyway, yeah, I had a good time with this, and I thought the acting caliber, like the actors in it, was very impressive. The like practical effects were really good. It was easy to follow along, like with the anatomy, the way the two leads were sort of directing us, because they're talking to a camera. All this is being filmed while they're working, and they everything that they're saying, you know, the as they're going through the autopsy, you know, it's very easy to follow along with all of that. So anyway, I thought it was really good, enjoyable time. I wasn't fully sure what to expect. I haven't seen Emile Hirsch in a long time, so yeah, he was in it, and it was cool to see Brian Cox in something like this, because I don't think I have, unless you count Manhunter, but he's really mild in Manhunter, and here he's doing more. And then there's some things that sort of, he does a couple things that makes me think of Logan Roy from Succession, but you know, that's going to happen. But I don't know, I just really liked seeing him in it, and the fact that it was the two of them experiencing this stuff. I feel like a lot of movies, you have the situation where one person's experiencing it and then the other one just doesn't believe them the whole time. And he you know, I guess he's a man of science, so it takes him a little bit longer to sort of believe what's happening around him. But when he does, he does. And then he kind of comes to the conclusion of what's actually going on, the supernatural activity that's going on. And it's just cool to see both of them sort of in danger, both of them in this situation together. It felt like you don't see this with actors like Brian Cox very often. So it felt really cool that he was like in the thick of the action. I really liked all that. Anyway, have you seen the Autopsy of Jane Doe? If so, let me know in the comments below. What did you think of it? I'm curious. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think it was mid? I feel like, I don't know, I thought it was good. I really liked it. So again, Anthony's Horror and More, thank you so much for pointing me towards this film. My wife and I enjoyed it. So thank you so much for watching, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.